so long.
Yeah.
But anyway, Gypsy, thank you so much. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much. I mean, what you guys did here, I actually had a conversation earlier with Steven, and I've never seen this before. Like, what you guys did here tonight, like, just, it was insane to me.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was our first time, right? So we just started Waco Roller Derby 7 weeks ago. And so all the girls that were dressed, Santa's elves running around, there was about 20 of us here, and they've never been to a derby bout. They've never been in a derby game. They've never seen roller derby, and they took direction so well from the 4 of us that have done roller derby and have been a part of bout production. And we were able to put together something that was really amazing. And like yourself, you've never seen it either.
Yeah.
So, like, you wouldn't have known that we've never done this before.
Yeah.
So it was pretty cool.
It looked, well, I would say obviously for being, that's kind of what's throwing me. It's obviously, it's Team USA trials.
Right.
And I guess you guys, there are going to be one more event as well.
Yeah, so Team USA tryouts, USA Roller Sports is under the World Skate umbrella. So World Skate hosts the World Roller Games, and so that's going to be in July. So this was the first of 3 tryouts.
Oh, okay.
So they're going to take however many, basically, and then they're going to have an East Coast and a West Coast, and then they'll bring the top whatever number together and make that final cut. And like, in 2019, when they skated in Barcelona, they only had 11 men, and then they had 18 women.
Oh.
So it just depends on the quality and the quantity that they can take. I think it's a maximum of 20 that they can actually take, but you got to think, when you're at the World Championships, you got to play your best.
Yeah.
And so some of those may not play every time.
Uh-huh.
So it's no different than in speed skating, right?
Yeah.
It's a very expensive plane ticket to go ride bench.
Yeah.
So, which is a whole other conversation, which I'm sure now that I've opened that door, we're going to have that conversation. But yeah, so they're going to have 3, then they'll come together and make that final selection, and however many go.
So it's in Argentina this year.
Yes,
Yeah.
Argentina. So, which is, I love it. It's
Yeah.
my favorite.
Where? So is it Buenos Aires?
It is this year,
Okay.
yeah, this time around.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting. It's so the World Roller Games is all of the roller sports together. So there's going to be skateboarding, scooter. There's downhill inline, which is amazing. I mean, we've been.
Yeah, I was gonna say, remember last time we did that one?
I remember that. And then they've got the staples, the figure speed, roller derby, inline hockey, speed, rink hockey, and they put on an amazing production. It is. Barcelona was the last one, and it was a complete shit show, to be honest. I don't know if we can say that, but
say whatever the hell you want.
It was a shit show. And, I mean, it was so bad that I was like, in my brain, I was like, if it ever is in Barcelona again, I'm just coming to eat. And that's it. I'm not going to have anything to do with roller sports because, it was so terrible.
Yeah.
But it was one of those, Pandora's box, like everything that could go wrong did go wrong. And 2 years prior in China, it was the same thing. Everything that could did. So it's like when you're putting on this huge production, there's so many moving parts, and that's hard for anybody. Like tonight, it was a huge production for us that have never done it, and all we did was play 2 30-minute periods.
Yeah.
And so it's just, the more you do it, the easier it's going to be. So this will be World Skate's 3rd go. So hopefully they will have learned, and they've also had since 2019 to plan. So hopefully.
Yeah, well, I mean, when I heard it was Argentina, obviously, and the reason I kind of know this about Spain and all that is Fourth. He turned 40 last month, and we had been planning to go do Running of the Bulls.
Oh my God.
I know you're very familiar with running.
Are we going to tell that story?
No. If you'd like to tell the story, Fourth and I, Fred and I, talk about that all the time. Mm-hmm. We do talk about your dad all the time.
Oh my gosh.
Thank you, buddy. Thank you so much. Absolutely.
You're welcome. I'll see you in a little bit.
Yeah, we're going to go eat music real quick.
Okay, cool. Maybe, yeah.
You too, bud.
I'll text you. All right. He's out.
If you and Heather want something, just say.
Okay. I don't know. Hot mess. It's a whole hot mess. It's a whole thing.
But no, that was his bucket list was the running with bulls, and of course, immediately the moment we start talking about that, we start talking about your father.
Yes, of course.
And so.
All right, we just have to tell everybody. It's just amazing. So my dad was the coach of Team France in 1995.
Yeah.
And they were in the Azores Island off the coast of Portugal, and it was at a European Cup. And at the end of the race, they all had this big festival, and it was all during the running of the bulls. And on the small island, their running of the bulls is way different than in Barcelona or Pamplona or wherever. So at the top of this hill, they had all these cages with the bulls, and the team would like standing around watching what's going on, and all of a sudden they see these guys start running down the road, and here's this bull chasing them with a rope around his neck, and they're like, what the hell is going on? Literally running down the street, bull chasing them. And then they got to the end, and they stop, and the bull stopped because that's as far, and the bull's like, yeah, all right. So they all were like getting it. My dad was running with him. The old guys, that were in charge of France were in there. Oh. They had the sprinters, Mikel, like everybody. Well, then this guy jumps on the top of the cage and starts speaking Portuguese. Between all of them, they speak German, they speak Spanish, they speak English, they speak French, they speak all these languages. No one speaks Portuguese. So they're all standing around, looking around. Well, all the locals get off the road, and their dumbasses stayed on the road. What this guy said was, if you're fat and old, get off the road. This is our strongest and biggest bull. All right. So my dad's running along on the top of the road because slants down, right? So he's running on the top of the road because it's the fastest way. Mm-hmm. Well, where's the bull running?
Same place.
Same place. Looks around, bull's right on his ass. He's like, what the? Starts running faster, pulls a hamstring. Bull comes under, gets his shorts, rips it up, rips his underwear, flies over the top. Dad's got busted eye, busted this, busted that, rah, rah, rah. And the crowd's like, oh. They take his ass to the hospital. They stick him in a cold-ass room, no lights, and leave him there with a little bitty thin blanket. Piss the nurse off.
Yeah.
As my dad does. Yeah. Comes in and just leaves him there, but then sticks a stitch in his eye. There wasn't no cut. Sticks a stitch in his eye just because he pissed her off. And and he's hobbling out, a couple hours later. Go to the airport, and the damn mayor of this city meets him at the airport and gives him the damn key to the damn city. You're a national hero. You ran with the bulls, yay. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Why are you rewarding stupidity? Y'all are dumb. So we picked Dad up at the airport at Syracuse, right? Uh-huh. And my mom was still alive, and she's like, I got to warn you, your dad's a hot mess. And I was like, what happened? She was like, well, he got hit by a bull. I was like, what the? And I'm like, what? Are you sure? And he's, yeah. So he comes hobbling into Syracuse, and everybody's like, what? And he tells me this story, and I'm like, you're a dumbass. I gotta go. Fast forward a year later, they go to another European Cup, and the damn mayor meets him at the airport again and gives him a medal to the city. Welcome back, hero. And I'm like, y'all are dumb. Y'all are dumb. So he has this bar, like this shrine of the key and this thing, and I'm like, and he's got all these scars. Look at my scar. I got hit by a bull. So there you go. So anybody who wants to go running with the bulls, remember that story, that if you don't speak Portuguese, you get off the damn road. You don't wait. You just get off the road. That's all.
I remember that. So I started skating in speed skating. I did figure skating. Mm-hmm. I started speed skating in 94. Mm-hmm. And I was actually... I found this recently, and kind of had me thinking about you and your mom, because it just stirred up a lot of this. I found a photo recently it was on my phone. My sister had sent it to me quite some time ago, and it was a picture from '95 in Syracuse. of my father and my mother sitting there at nationals. And that year there was a guy, I think his name was like something Allred from Georgia or something like that.
Yeah.
And he cut the floor, and I was like half the corner ahead. He cut the floor, knocked me down. My glasses, I was wearing glasses at the time, and my glasses, the nose piece stuck in my forehead.
Yep.
So it turned into the Rec Specs thing that I had for a while. So
I remember that.
my mom was so petrified. There was just blood everywhere. They had to like pop the. So anyway, found this picture, and I realized that my parents in that photo, my dad is 37, my mom's 38.
Yeah.
2 years younger than I am now. And I just started going down this road of thinking about this time frame. And I actually kind of talked about this. I talked to Fred about this on his show. We've accomplished pretty much everything you can accomplish, including embarrassing ourselves at the X Games and burning all kinds of skin off and stuff like that. My father had a shrine kind of to me in his theater room, and all of this stuff was on the wall, and everything. Well, all my world medals were like over here and like jerseys and stuff, but right in the middle of it was my absolute favorite award that I'd ever won, and it was the Linda Lucas Award.
Awesome.
So it's the only one I ever kept. I didn't keep any of the trophies. My mom and dad would keep a lot of that stuff. The only one I actually kept was that Linda Lucas Skater of the Year Award.
Well, thanks.
And Fred and I were talking about it because I think I won it you guys awarded it to me in '99, I believe, and I think he won it maybe the year after or something like that. And so seeing that and it just had me, and of course then, I was talking to my mom about it today on my way up here, come to see you guys. And I was like, oh, it's in a box right now and it sucks. I got to go find it. I was driving us. My parents, they had from the freeze that we had, they had a lot of damage to their house. And so we had to pack up the entire theater room and everything's in storage. And so that award's in there. And I was thinking about, I was like, oh my God, where's that fucking award? It's the only one I care about. It's the only, I mean, I have none of the other ones, but
I appreciate that. That's awesome.
I don't even have I think my parents have it somewhere. And then I was talking to Steven about this, our experience at the X Games. I remember, and I'm sorry, I think about it because I've seen the video. Of course, I've gone back and watched my video many times, and then your video.
Oh God.
That's on there. Wow.
Yeah.
Like,
my husband loves to pull that out at parties. only when he's drunk. Look what my wife did. That's her ass right there on X Games. ESPN. Woo! Now he's not Texan, he's Australian, so that's my terrible Australian, But yeah, man, that was a hoot. That was just like, what sucks about that? We had 2 runs, right? The first one, trial run. Come down, Oceanside, and there's a bridge. And I hit it, and I was like, ooh, that's a little, gotta be careful right there. Got back in the truck to go up, and I was like, y'all be careful right there. There's this little, little bridge gap. Sure shit, that is exactly where I fell the last time. And I was like, man, ain't that...
Now, you just had on the wrist guards and everything.
Yeah, they didn't make us wear anything. And so at the time, we're speed skaters. We just wear helmets. What, wrist guards?
Yeah.
Knee pads? So that's all we had. And I just had a Lycra shirt, Lycra jersey, skin suit, and that was it. So I had 3rd-degree burns on both ass cheeks. All the way in the crack, like all the way in. And they had a 70-foot Jumbotron. And as I get up and ride down, here's my ass 70 feet wide. All big and shiny. I was like, good Lord, y'all. Y'all could have not, change camera lens.
No, that's
Something
the
big
angle
old-
is the angle that was gonna make TV
Good
ratings.
Lord. Look at that thing. Woo! 70 feet.
It was like
Damn.
it ended up. It looked like it looked like ashless chaps.
Yeah.
When it was, and,
Yeah.
and then I remember because then they started shipping all of us off to the same hospital.
Yep.
For everything, and
Which, by the way, was an orthopedic surgeon.
yeah.
So what the hell is he gonna do with a burned ass?
Hey, it was good for
That-
me.
Well, yeah, for you. That guy kept putting gauze on my ass, and every time I would go back, he would rip that thing off, and we'd have to start. It was excruciating, but I did get some good, good go-go
Yeah.
stuff. But I stuck around 3 days in Oceanside. I got to sit, however, front row when Tony Hawk did his first 900.
Nah, it's cool.
So I will take the ass burn for that.
So I kind of a similar story because of my ankle. I was on a boot, and when they take us through that trailer and everything to like sign and get our checks and everything, Tony Hawk and Dave Mira were standing there, and they walked me up.
Oh my God.
And like he's like, and then Tony Hawk comes into the trailer with me, and he walks with me to get me out and everything. I was like, man, that was like,
Might have been worth it.
yeah, I was like, that's kind of cool. I mean, I got paid I think it was $150 or something like
Yeah.
that. But I was like, well, yeah, that was well worth it. Just that experience right there. And I felt like such an idiot, It's like you're Tony Hawk.
You're Tony Hawk.
Oh my God.
Y'all are amazing.
Yeah, I mean, I'm 15, 16 at the
Yeah.
time, and so I was like,
Oh, yeah.
I
I don't know how to work my mouth.
yeah,
right now.
I'm broken right now. I don't know what to do. That was a pretty cool experience. Did you ever do? Because at that time, obviously, what was that? It was the league that was trying to do all of that. It was like, and then they did the Ultimate Inline Challenge.
Yeah. So I did the Ultimate Inline Challenge, but as far as any other downhill, I didn't do any more.
No.
Like I was just like, I'm good, thanks. Now, however, like I kind of wish that I hadn't stopped,
Yeah.
because it's like, I don't know, it was really exhilarating and it was great. It was a great experience, to be able to highlight speed skaters, even though that wasn't our event,
Right.
so to speak. It was a way to get us out there, and there was a lot of potential that, unfortunately, that was the last year, 98. But also, it's dangerous, So, I mean, Sepulveda from the year before, and, all the injuries, like, we were an expensive ticket for
Yeah.
them. And I mean, I don't fault the X Games for that. I mean, it is what it is, and also ratings.
Yeah.
But also it's racing. Everybody loves racing. First one across the finish line. There's no judgment. There's no scores. Just, are you fast enough? Then prove it.
But what's crazy is the guy who won that year. I can't remember his name for the life of me. I know that Scott Hyatt was in that final.
Yeah.
You know him.
Yeah.
The guy who won, all I remember, he was in one of those Super G ski suits.
Yep.
But he smoked everybody.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, shit, this isn't fair. Like, this is just, that was just absolutely
And
ridiculous.
So this last World Games, I don't know if he got first or third, but Presti.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, from Italy.
Yeah.
So a speed skater is still doing downhill and winning medals at the World Championships.
That's cool.
Yeah, so it was like, I know him.
That's cool.
That's all right.
Yeah, we're
You
actually
know?
we're friends on
Yeah.
we're friends on Facebook and
Yeah.
Instagram. So yeah, so I get to see all of this stuff. Yeah.
So it's really cool, and I got to go to Spain pre Worlds last time,
Mm-hmm.
and we did a little tour of the city, and which was unfortunately a complete waste of time because they didn't show us the right stuff.
Yeah.
Again, shit show. But they took us down the hill and in the bus.
Oh.
So I videoed the whole downhill on the bus. And I was like, these jokers are going to die. It was literally the bus had to do a 3-point turn to get around one of the turns. It was a hairpin right-hand turn.
Oh, hell no.
And they would have been going 60 miles an hour.
Hell no.
And I was like, are you sure this is the course? Because I feel like y'all gonna kill somebody.
Someone's dying.
Someone's dying. They're going straight. And that's
Just like that. Perfect timing.
Perfect timing. But yeah, I was like, I don't know if that's safe, y'all. So I like sent it off to Kelly Springer, who still knows a lot of the U.S. downhillers, and he sent it to them, and they were like, "What the hell are they thinking?" So I don't know if they changed it prior to, but I was like, y'all need to be doing some right-hand turns because this is gonna be hardcore, especially if you got a pack of 4 coming in hard.
We're like NASCAR racers.
I know.
We're going left.
I know.
Going left.
I know. Throw it right in there.
I have to this day, and it's the strangest thing. I'm right-handed. I can't do anything with any coordination with my left hand whatsoever.
Except skate to the left.
Except for skate to the left. And to this day, my left leg and my left hand is stronger than my right.
Of course, yeah.
Because of the force we would put on the left side.
Yep.
And I'm like, God, I wish we would have turned right. It's like there's
Yep.
It's not even comparable.
Yeah.
So on the roller derby side that you guys did here today, you guys are starting like a whole league here in Waco.
Yeah. So 2014-ish, I'd moved from New York back to Austin, and there was a group of girls that a couple of them worked at the rink, and I wasn't back in the rink business yet. I was still working for Adam Skates, and they were like, we want to play derby. And I was like, all right, I'll drive up on Tuesdays and I will teach y'all how to play roller derby, because I had played in Gotham in New York, and I had played in Austin at the time, and so I came up and there was about 10 girls, and it was one thing about roller derby that is different than pretty much any other roller sport is that the community of roller derby is a village, and everybody's got a job. Whereas in speed skating, it's where's the coach, and the coach has to do everything, which means things don't get done all the time. I'm sorry, Inside Edge. I will do better, I promise. But y'all gonna have to work some. But that's the thing, is like in derby, everybody's got to have a job. Like there's a committee for marketing, there's a committee for promotion, there's a committee for bout production, there's a committee for merch, and there's a committee for training. So everybody's got a role. Why? Because everybody's good at something. Not everybody's good at everything. So that's the one thing about roller derby that makes it what it is. And when I came up in 2014, we just didn't get that to that point yet because I wasn't here all the time. I was only coming up once a week. So for 6 days, I was like, right, y'all have to advertise. Y'all have to get people. Y'all have to come skate. And it was just a once a week training, let's get fit thing. So it didn't really work at that time. So now fast forward, and I'm back in Waco from 2019, and I'm like, okay, I haven't played in a couple of years. You know, if I'm going to play, I'm getting real creaky in some joints. Things are crunching when I sit down, and, you know, these knees are not going to last forever. And I was like, if I'm going to play, it's got to be now. So I started, you know, just kind of putting some feelers out. And with COVID, a lot of the girls that are in the Central Texas area, either it dissolved or they were driving to Dallas or driving to Austin. So I was like, hey, what do you think? You know, Poppy Brooke Hill moved from Dallas down to Waco, and she's managing the new Top Golf here in Waco, and she was part of Dallas Derby Devils. And then Tons was part of ACRG, and Zombie, who actually lives an hour north from us, but it takes her an hour to go north to play with them. So I was like, why don't you just go the other way? Come an hour south. So we met over tacos in margaritas in October, which is how you should do
every meeting should go like that. Every meeting
should be like that. And I was like, we were taking notes, and we were talking, we were doing these things, and we were talking about roller derby and what are we going to do? How are we going to get everybody involved? Where do we start? Like,
I've never been involved in the actual start of one. I've always like just been there for the training and help in a already established location, and the same for them. So we were like, we've already got a Facebook page, we've already got this, we've got that. Okay, you do that. And I told them, I was like, my job is the rink. Like, you can't give me more than that. My job is to make sure the floor is good, the doors are open, we've got electricity, our charters, I will take care of all of that. But y'all gotta get the people and get the committees and organized. And they were like, we got you. I said, okay. So we just put the feelers out. We said, right, we're getting started the Monday after the fair is over. So we had the beginning of October through the fair, which is a huge deal here in Waco. Small towns, big fairs, right? And we advertised for about 3-4 weeks, and we had 30 people show up to our first meet and greet. And we were floored. We were like, holy crap on a cracker. Like, what do we do now?
Expecting maybe 5.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I was expecting some of our people that work for us and some of the rink rats, but we had people coming in, and we were like, man, we've been waiting for this. We're here. We're ready. And we were like, oh, fuck yeah. And our first practice, we had 25, and we're still at 25. And so, which is good because everybody that has come so far, we're in week number 7, and we're still learning skating skills. Like, we're doing a lot of 1-foot balance, backward skating, stopping, how to plow stop. We actually played sock derby this last week for the first time. So actually got them the feel of how do you make a wall? How do you build a wall? How do you get together? So the great thing for us is that we went with USA Roller Sports for our charter, so we can play all rule sets. And we can play the flat track WIFTA rule sets, we can play international rule sets, we can play MRDA, we can play MADE, so we can cover all the ground underneath this one charter. And we're able to start at 14 years old with USA Roller Sports and be co-ed. So with a brand new organization, it was way more open, way more opportunities to be able to go with that charter and bring in all my rink rats, because I've got skaters who have been skating since they were 5.
Yeah.
And are skating session and can skate circles around some of these ladies who started skating 7 weeks ago because they're 14 now and they've been skating for 10 years. So, and that's the challenge with anything as an adult, when you start out, and you've got a kid and you're like, and it's like, don't worry about it. Like, you'll get there, but like, think about it. They've been skating for 10 years. Yeah, they're 14. They're a little shit, but you know what? Bitch can skate backwards.
Yeah.
We love them, so it's been really, really good. And they're so enthused. Like tonight, we had a little mix-up on our shirts. We were supposed to have Waco roller derby shirts today, and it didn't happen. So we were like, all right, new plan, Santa's elves. Everybody dress up in Christmas. And they did. And they came out, and they were amazing. They're so hungry for something new and exciting to be a part of. And again, roller derby is a family. And even though we are open to co-ed, we've only got one guy that's skating with us, and we have one volunteer that's guy, and everybody else is female. But we're open. I mean, it's transgender. It's open for LGBTQ+. It's just him, shim. We don't care. We don't care. We want you on roller skates. We don't care what bathroom you use.
You don't care if they want to be called an eggplant or something.
Don't care.
Just get out there and skate.
Get out there and skate. That's the great thing about roller derby is that that tribe, you found your tribe. If you've been looking for somewhere to fit in, roller derby is it.
Yeah.
And in all honesty, like speed skating is it, and figure skating is it. Anything skating can be your tribe.
Sure.
It just depends on if you like hitting people, or if you like going real fast, or if you like jumping up in the air. What do you want to do? Put some wheels on your feet. Let's do it.
Can you go fast and hit people?
Yeah.
I mean, that's.
Yeah.
I want to go fast.
I want to go fast, and it's been really good. It's been really good. So.
Well, I noticed that, and I mean, I think today's society, obviously, we have social media and stuff like that today. We didn't have that back in the 90s. I mean,
God.
Yeah, I know. I don't think I tell my mom this all the time. I'm so happy that there wasn't phones and shit, because the things I did to my parents being recorded and put online, I might have been a member of Jackass at some point, but at the same time, that stuff would have been around forever. It's just in memory now. Like me throwing up on my mom in Argentina, actually, throwing up on her was like, thank God it's not on camera. But anyway, I noticed that, and again, it might become a little bit about because of social media, but everybody that was here was, it was a huge group. Everybody was getting together, and I talk about this. The last actual indoor inline competition I did was here in 2000 when I was living with Jordan and Peggy.
Yep.
I remember it being here. The only thing that was communal was Jordan Nelson and I kept punking each other. He took my skates, and I remember it was right on the other side of where the y'all's pro shop is right there.
Yeah.
He took my wheels, and he took all of the bolts out, and then just put it back together. And so when I went to go pick up my skates, everything came apart. So Jordan Nelson,
with love,
oh
I'm
yeah,
sure he did.
He thought it
With
was so
love.
fantastic, and I said, okay, all right, I'm gonna get you back, asshole. He won the senior grand champion race or something like that, and his dumbass left his trophy sitting around. So I literally got a hold of this, 4 foot tall trophy, and I took every single bolt out of this fucking thing. And I stacked it back up, and I sat there.
I remember this.
And
yes.
he was so happy. He comes to go by, and he grabs the skate, and he goes to pick it up, and that shit just goes everywhere.
Yes.
And the look on his face, it was
Priceless.
I was so happy with myself because he looked so crushed.
Of course,
he just looked so. But there was little bitty pockets of that stuff in inline from what I remember. What I saw tonight, what I saw out there, it was just like everybody was a group.
Yeah.
It was a huge community of everybody. I thought that was so fantastic. Even the teams that were playing against each other, the white versus the black teams. Like the way you guys have everybody line up around the floor and they circle around and slap hands, and it's like soccer where everybody feeds back around, and they're like, that kind of sportsmanship was unheard of in speed skating.
Yeah.
That's awesome to see that.
Yeah.
Does that happen at the world level too?
Oh yeah, yeah. So one of the things that's great about roller derby is that, everyone that's a fan watching, and one thing about tonight, because this was a different rule set for a lot of people watching, so they were learning, and I had to announce tonight, and I don't know all the rules, so I was making shit up. I'll be honest. I was like, am I saying the right things? I don't know if that was right. I don't know what just happened, so I can't really say anything. But like there was a gal here from Seattle who plays for Rose City, one of the best women's WFTDA teams in the world. And she was like, I'm here to kind of see what's going on because I don't understand the rules and I want to see. And so after the women's portion, she was like, I'm getting it, but there's still some things I'm like, you can't do that. And I was like, but you really can. So it's like there's a couple of nuances between the two. So there were a lot of people who were learning the rules as they went. There were 43 females that tried out for Team USA, and there were 30 men. So 75 athletes came from all over the place because we're not ready to play. There wasn't nobody from Waco, Texas, but 75 people came to Waco, Texas to try out. And, I offered the rinks complimentary for selfish reasons. One, I wanted Waco Roller Derby to be able to see high-level roller derby, to say, this is our goal, this is what we're striving to be. We're not going to be there for at least 5, 6, 7 years.
Yeah.
Because we're not at that skating level. We can't skate with Rollamite. We can't skate with Carter, right? He's damn amazing.
His name, by the way.
Rollamite, right?
Oh my God.
They're so terrible. I love
it's
it.
so funny.
But we're not at that level yet in skating, so we're not going to play at that level. So I wanted them to be able to see this is our goal, but we don't have to do that because we had a good time with the production.
Yeah.
And
able to see roller derby. And I wanted to introduce roller derby to Waco, Texas, because they've never seen it. And from tonight, we offered anybody that was here for public skating, if you want to stay, it's only $5. So we had a bunch of our rink rats pay $5 and stick around for another 2 hours. And then they signed up for roller derby. So now at our practice on Monday, I'm probably going to have another 10 people who have never played, who are super excited because they came here tonight. So selfishly, I was like, I will give you the rink. You can do whatever you need to do in the morning, but we're going to do a scrimmage at night, and we're going to host it. And they were like, okay, no skin off our back, you know. But then they were surprised at how well we did, and we have like lots of notes of, you know, we fucked that up. We didn't do this. Oh shit, we forgot that, you know. But it's also been 2 years since anybody's put on a bout.
Yeah.
It's been 2 years since anybody's played in a real big bout, you know, other than nationals, which happened in Cedar Rapids, but it was only 7 teams.
Yeah.
You know, and this was like a one-time deal. And I also wanted to bring people to Waco so that they could see what Waco has to offer. My end goal, I want to host. This last year, we did Texas roller games, and we did speed and figure. I want to be able to do Texas roller games just like World Skate does and have speed, figure, hockey, derby. And I want the city, I've got the city ready, and they're primed, and they want Waco to be a sporting destination.
Sure.
So if I can get them on board and get them to start funding some of these things, maybe I can build a bank track. Maybe I can build a bank track that has an outdoor roller derby venue. Maybe I can build a bank track that has a concert venue with a skate park. And then all of a sudden I can say, hey, World Skate, come to Texas.
Yeah.
So small little steps between all the different sports and big picture wise. So selfishly, that's why I did this. And it was a huge success for us. But coming back full circle to your question, like community wise, the thing about roller derby is that you can hit someone so damn hard, knock them on their ass, pick them up, good game them, and then go drink a beer later.
Yeah.
And nobody's like, fuck you. You know, every year, I don't know what time, like maybe November or May, I'm not sure which one it is, but there's a memory that comes up on Facebook all the time. And it's of me knocking the shit out of someone, Anita. And I hit her so hard, and she falls, and I stop, and I try to help her up, and I'm just like, I'm just gonna go to the box.
I'm gonna put myself there.
Bye, y'all. And every time it comes up, I share it, and I apologize to Anita, and it gets, oh my God, look at that hit. But that's the thing is like, there's so much action happening that, you know, you turn your head for a slight second, and all of a sudden, bam, somebody's got you. But there's not really anybody that does anything intentional, you know? Like, we played at Nationals, and this guy was a real dickhead. And he hit me in the face, and it pissed me off, so I went in hard, hit him, I went to the box. They were like, we know he did it, but you don't go after him like that.
No
Gypsy.
retaliation.
No retaliation. I was like, all right, coach.
Yeah.
Fucker.
Yeah, I don't see you taking any shit from anybody.
Yeah. And so I sat my 30 seconds, and then I went back out and I hit him again, cleanly. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna go sit on the bench now and throw up because I tried so hard.
Well, I watched. Well, obviously, there was a tremendous amount of women, and that was really cool watching the different shifts and going back and forth. There was like 3 different groups at a time, so that was really, really fun. And then the guys, there was only 2 from
2
each
lines,
team,
yeah.
and so watching that, but obviously the girls is obviously different.
Yeah.
I think in that entire match, I saw 3 women go to the penalty box.
Right.
And the guys...
Which is surprising because 95% of the girls that played today learned the rules today.
Really?
Yeah.
That was amazing. It really did.
Yeah.
It was awesome the way they did it.
Yeah.
Those women were... I was like super impressed with like their skating ability.
Right.
They were all able to, you know, if they got spun around, there was very little falling with the females.
Yeah. The skating skill has improved so much over, like,
what was it? 2003 was when roller derby was reintroduced in Austin.
Yeah.
And since then to now, it's the sport itself has morphed into so many different variations, and here we are, right? And everybody wants to be an athlete, which it's awesome. It's awesome, right? And the skating skills have improved so much, and they, the Waco roller derby girls, brand new, we offer them through the rink a very, very inexpensive monthly fee, $50. You can skate every public skating session. You can come to every class, speed, learn to skate, and derby. So you could skate every single day if you wanted to with your little card.
Mm-hmm.
And, when we came up with that, and I offered that, everybody that had played somewhere else was like, holy shit, yeah, let's do that, because it was $60 in Dallas and all I got was 2 practices a week.
Right.
And I'm like, what? So it's easier for me because I own the rink. And I can say, I don't really give a shit, because you're going to come and you're going to buy stuff from me in my skate shop. You're going to come and be a better skater, which means I can hit you sooner. Again, selfish.
Yeah.
I'm totally selfish. And you're going to come and you're going to buy a bottle of water at session, and then you're going to bring your kid, and then you're going to have a birthday party, and then you're going to bring your neighbor, and then we're going to have a bout, and you're going to bring your whole staff, and then you're going to bring 3 more people. So my whole thing is I want people to skate. I don't care if you play roller derby. I don't care if you speed skate. I don't care if you just skate session, but I want you to skate, and I want you to have a good time, and I want you to do it for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
Because if I can get these 25 girls to be skaters until they're 90, then that means their kids, their grandkids, their great-grandkids, it just builds and builds and builds. And it doesn't matter what sport they're in. And it just, you got to have skates on. So my goal is just skating. It helps my business, but again, the end goal is to have Waco be behind us.
Yeah.
And support sports. And this rink where we're at is more of our sport rink anyway. We built it for sports in mind. We built it for speed skating originally, and roller hockey, because that's what I was doing then. And next year we're going to sand the floor all the way down and have new lines, and it's going to be amazing. And it's just, we've got all these plans to go, and everything just takes, small steps, little bites here. And if we can get Waco behind us, there's a lot of money coming into Waco right now. And if we can get Waco to grow with us, if we can grow with Waco as Waco is growing itself, then we're going to end up being a prime spot, because we're right in the center of the country. We're an hour from Dallas, we're an hour from Austin, an hour from DFW. You can fly into Waco, and sometimes it's amazing.
Yeah.
But they had to drive 4 hours to go to the World Championships from Bogota to Mbigwe. Why not drive an hour to come to the World Championships in Waco, Texas? Why not? So I think if we can get Waco behind us, seeing all the different sport options that have wheels, then we've got a real shot, a real opportunity. So, in game, super selfish.
Yeah.
Super selfish. I want to hit people. I want them to skate faster. I want them to learn how to skate faster so that I can hit them and get my frustrations out. I know, totally selfish.
It's
totally selfish.
It's just so funny growing up with you to that's so your personality to be like, I just want to fucking hit him. I just want to hit him.
And then I'm so sorry.
Yeah, and then
are you okay?
And then the nurturing kind of sweet Gypsy comes in all of a sudden,
Okay, are you ready to do it again? Here I come.
Yeah,
I'm gonna do it again. Be ready this time. You weren't ready last time.
But it was something. It really was. And then seeing Rolomite, God,
man. So the first time I saw him play was at RollerCon in Vegas, and which is a whole other thing, and amazing. But he had never played roller derby.
Yeah.
And like me, the first time I played, I was like, wait, you want me to put this thing on my head? Okay, what do I do now?
the panties.
The panty, Go through the pack. Okay, now what? Lap the pack. Okay, now what? Go through the pack again. I was like, wait, how many laps am I doing?
I'm a sprinter.
I'm a sprinter.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not in this 2-minute distance bullshit. No. Can I call it off? I'm ready?
Right.
all right, I'm doing that. One time's enough for me. We're good. And they're like, but it's only 60 meters. Shut up.
Yeah.
Calling it off.
Yeah,
But
done.
yeah, but when I watched Carter the first time, you know, he didn't know the rules. And I was like, I feel this in my soul. Like, this is what happened to me. Like, just, you're fucking fast. Go do it. And boy, howdy, he just was on fire. And he's such a pleasure to watch. And, you know, guys are dicks when they play, to be honest. They're complete assholes to each other.
Sure.
But when you get that high level play and you watch the ones that can actually skate, him, Stelly, it's poetry on wheels, to be honest.
Yeah.
And then you watch folks that came from just a roller derby background, not the speed skating or figure or whatever, weren't rink rats, found it later in life, and then their skating skills are getting better and better because of our rink rat skills that are coming into play. And they're like, I want to do that. So they're videoing all this shit and they're watching it at home, YouTubing all the things. And how does he do that 1 foot little swizzle thing? That's Stelly. No, you're not going to learn how to do that.
Right, yeah.
Come back over here and watch this, you know. But there's just such a great opportunity for speed skaters and rink rats and figure skaters and whomever to transition into roller derby, because you already know how to skate.
Yeah.
The rules is the hard part then. But if you already know how to skate, like, you've got to step up, and then everybody steps up. You know, the whole game improves. And that's been what's great about roller derby from 2003 to now, is that whole transition and everybody getting better and better and better and better. And watch it. You know, Bonnie Thunders on flat track, you know, she was a figure skater. And she's amazing. Absolutely amazing. You know, and watching skaters come from different sports and pulling their skills into a different sport and honing them is just amazing to watch. And as a coach and as a teacher at heart, I'm like, oh, did you see that 3 turn? Oh my God. Oh my God, did you see that? Oh my God. Did you see that inner loop? Oh my God. And they're like, what are you geeking out over? Like, she just turned around. I'm like, never mind. You don't get it, never mind. Just watch. Yeah. I'm a fan.
Well, you know, I agree with you there, because I mean, I came from figure skating, started speed skating, and the skill level that I had with the balance, and I mean, I rarely fell. When I did fall, I broke something.
Yes, you did.
I fell hard.
Yes, you did.
But I could totally see that out there today, because there's several guys that are out there that have some speed skating background.
Yep.
And they're out there today, and you see that the difference it makes for him and everything.
Right.
But of course, like I said, Steven, that was his thing. He called me, and his intention was, he says,
Do you have skates?
yeah, it's exactly what he said. He says, you have skates? I was like, for what? He's like, well, I'm going to be in Waco. And we want to get some speed skaters to start doing roller
trying
derby.
out.
And I'm like, dude, I'm not interested in breaking something right now. Like, we were talking about this earlier.
Yeah.
Like, I did a deadlift. I did a deadlift last year, 500-pound deadlift, and I tore my right bicep right here. Luckily, it didn't tear it off the bone. Well, healed it up about 3 weeks ago. I redid it, did a 500-pound deadlift. Not a problem, lifted it right up, but my knee pops. My right knee pops. And I'm like, okay, this shit's over with.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not. And then the thought of skating and slamming to the ground. I mean, I'm 40. I really don't want my knees replaced at this point.
So last week we had our speed meet, our annual Thanksgiving event, and I announced the speed meet. So I can't sit and announce, you know, because I'm like, what's happening over there? What are you doing? So I'm up moving around.
Yeah.
And on Friday we skated from 7 in the morning until 6 at night. And I walked 7 miles in a small circle in the middle of the track. And I kept looking at my watch. I was like, y'all, I'm at 5 miles. Bitches better skate faster. My knees are hurting. That next day, I was like hobbling around, right? I'm like, oh my God. And then by the time Sunday came around when we were outdoor, and even though my knee hurts and my feet hurt, I still have to stand up.
Yep.
Like, I just can't. Like, I get so involved in the race, and I'm just like, oh my God, look at that. And like by Sunday night, I was just like, holy moly. And then like my knee right now, it literally feels like someone's like going,
jamming something right in the middle.
Well, yeah, even tonight you were getting up and just running around the entire time. You were getting the crowd into it and everything, and announcing and getting everybody to do the dance and all that stuff.
No matter what, like, announcing is like running a skating rink.
Yeah.
It's all about entertainment, and if people are entertained, they're going to come back. That's what makes a good announcer. That's what makes a good DJ. That's what makes a good party pal for birthday parties. And, if I'm bored, then you're bored.
Yeah.
Right? So I always try to entertain, but gosh, like tonight was my very first time announcing a derby thing. And like I said before, like I only knew like part of the rules. I'm still learning the flat track, and I'm still learning, like I don't know all the WIFTA rules. I don't know all the USARS rules. I know when I play, I go to the box a lot. I'm not quite sure why, but I'm like, me? Okay. I'm going to.
Again?
Here. All right. I'm on my 5th one. Okay, thank you. What did I do? I don't know what I did. Anybody know what I did? Okay, I need to not do that again.
Yeah.
So tonight I was like announcing, and I was like, and they didn't have the roster for the ladies, so I was like, oh, it's the lady in the black jersey, number 1, yay! What's her name? Anybody know who that is? She's fucking fast.
When I first thing I heard you said is like, you were like, all right, the black scores, and I was like, oh, hey, okay.
Oh, what's going on?
Right.
And the white score. Yeah.
Oh,
and I was like, can't say that.
I was like, Gypsy, did you make the white team the home team intentionally? Like, like in my mind, I'm like, oh. So
epic fail. Yeah. So Pio's like, I'm gonna get you the men's roster now. I'm like,
yeah.
So it was a little bit better, like getting to it. But I mean, announcing is an art, like.
Yeah.
My favorite who's your favorite announcer?
Bob Justice. Yeah.
Oh, I love that guy. Yeah. Bobby J. Man.
Just really quick, Dustin, I love you too. Okay,
Yeah,
you
me
do
too.
great,
I
Dustin.
love you.
But Bob Justice,
Bobby Justice.
you got to give it up to Bob. He's the king.
My favorite.
Yeah.
He's my favorite. So yeah, but like, and that's who. Anytime I'm announcing, I always try to think, what do I remember when I was skating?
Yeah.
And what I remember is when I was a senior lady getting on the floor for warm up, dumbass Bobby Justice playing Fat Bottom Girls, and I was like, listen. I resemble that song. Thank you. What are you doing? But I was just like, there was always, either an underlying joke or, something. And so you got to keep it funny.
Yeah.
I've got a really sick sense of humor, and some people get it. Some people don't. I'm really sorry.
Yeah.
But, no dead air. You can't have dead air.
No.
And so.
Well, I told Steven tonight one of my life stories is with Bob.
Yeah.
That like I don't know if you probably have not, a lot of people don't pay attention to a lot of the dumb shit I say, but I always tell everybody that my real father's black. I'm half black, and because I was a sprinter, so it was always competing with Steven and Keith. That's it, and so.
That's all right. I was told when I moved to the Caribbean, that ass got no business being on a wild one. I was like, thank you. I will take that.
Yeah, huge compliment. But it was actually Bob doing an interview with me. And he starts asking me, he's like, hey, I just won some racing. He's like, hey, what'd you do? How do you do that? And I said, well, Bob, to tell you the truth, my real father's black. And so this really comes to me naturally. And he just froze. And he immediately goes, well, all right, everybody, Jason Husk. He like cut it off right there.
And that's a wrap.
I forget what meet it was, but it was like 500 people there. And he just stopped dead. And he's like, okay, everybody, that's Jason Husk. Goodbye.
We're done.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
So,
bye-bye now.
So Bob is a huge influence in the shit that I talk to this day, to everybody. So I do all that. Actually, I've been trying with the schedule and everything to get him on my show as well, because he doesn't live too far from me.
I ask him every year, will you please come to Thanksgiving? No, I'm too busy. Will you please come to May? No, I'm too busy.
He's busy.
I know, but man.
He's got that kiddo and everything.
I know, but just think how amazing. Just like one night only.
hearing his voice on there. I know. You could bring in people from all across the country
know.
just to say
One
that Bob.
race,
Yeah,
100-meter dash. Well,
that would be amazing.
we
Have
can,
him
we
call
can
that.
dust your skates off.
I tell you what, I would do it. I would actually like to do the 100-meter. I don't think I could have done it very well. Well, I mean, at a start,
Yeah.
I didn't have the body mass when I was 16, 17 years old.
No, well, I would say no 16, 17-year-old does, but it depends on what country.
Yeah. Yeah. There's, maybe, exactly.
Yeah. But yeah. Yeah.
I skated.
Next.
Yes, I skated against one of those guys. It rhymed with Dumbo.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think now at like I'm 195, 200 pounds.
Yeah.
I'm like, if I get that going on a 100-meter,
Oh yeah, absolutely.
that I've thought about it at the same time. I'm like,
Well, I don't know, but I'm more round than I am, tall now. So I'm just like, spandex and I don't get along anymore. I'm just gonna work harder. Baby.
I kind of want to do the spandex thing just because now it has to go on social media. So it's like you're not hiding from it at all.
No.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
Oh, I actually got a Champions jersey,
Yeah?
and it was a double XL. I was like, holy shit! I used to wear a medium.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm an extra large now, and I'm like, oh my god.
What happened?
Oh, this is insane. Well, yeah, that's what it is. I like lifting. I like lifting really heavy shit, and it doesn't go so well with so much cardio. But now I mean, if I can just go fast in a straight line, I might be okay with
Right?
it. But I'm gonna have to get custom skates
Of course.
because I'd had a set and
Yeah.
it tore me apart.
Well, I mean, my feet are.
Somebody
all
want to give me
jacked up.
custom skates? Somebody
Hint,
watching?
hint,
And
Yeah, my feet are screwed anyway.
Yeah.
I always had weird feet, and I skated in Simmons and UFOs, and that was it. That's all I ever skated on.
Same
because
thing.
I couldn't fit in anything else, nothing stock. And so, like now, I actually have a pair of Fila Houdinis, which is a recreational skate, and, hard shell. And I get out there and I can skate practice with them, but I'm never going to put my foot in a custom again. Like, it just doesn't, it hurts.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to race, I'll get out there and skate practice with the kids, but, that's all I'm going to do. So, and it works just fine for me, which, talking about that kind of skate, like one of the things I think for speed skating is you got to have equipment for these new kids.
Yeah.
And when we started, well, I'm not sure if you did, but when I started, when that transition happened, we skated in Xanstras and
Yes.
Rydell's, the hard shell boot, right? And that taught us how to keep our ankles straight, and it taught us our edges. And then we started with 72 millimeter wheels, and then 70, and then just
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And so we had that natural progression of learning on the smaller wheel, and as we got more comfortable, then the manufacturer came out with a 76, and then we got comfortable on that, and then there was an 80, and then there was an 84, and 90, and now we're at 100s and 110s, and the kids are starting on a low top carbon boot with a 100 or a 110, and their ankles are flopping around. They got no ankle strength. So I've got two brand new kids that started from my summer camp, and they're in rollerblades right now. And amazing, we have a Star Skate program, which is a beginner program. It's a $15 card. They don't have to buy a big membership, and it's $20 to skate a meet, so it's inexpensive. But if they want to take that next step, their next option is a $300 skate.
Yeah.
That is going to kill their feet and blah, 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 blah. So we have some rental skates here, so they test them out, and after the meet and Thanksgiving, Wednesday, they were like, I'm ready, let's put these babies on. And I was like, okay, here we go. We're going to skate 30 minutes in them, and we're going to take them off and put our regular skates on. They're like, what? No, I'm doing the whole thing. And I'm like,
Yeah.
No, you're not.
Nuh-uh.
And in about 20 minutes, he was like, my ankle really hurts. And I'm like, yeah, baby, I know. I feel you. Yeah. So I'm like, where's Zanstra when you need it? You know? So, you know, and I've been saying it for a really long time, and it's just super challenging. And, you know, there's a couple on the market. So, you know, we're going to try to bring those in and get our kids on those, because if I can skate in a high top recreational fitness speed, whatever you want to call it, that has a 100mm wheel, and I can go fast in them for about one lap and then I run out of gas, but I can keep up with the pack when I need to change somebody's body position and help them. But if I can do that in this particular type of skate, then anybody can.
Yeah.
You know, and it'll help them get their ankle in the right place. My feet don't hurt. I can go out there and I can skate 2 hours in them. I don't have to go fast, right? But I don't have to put a custom shoe on, and my feet hurt.
Gypsy, I when I put my skates on the first time, Becky Ramirez had to push me around the track.
Because your feet hurt.
I was in bad shape. My feet hurt. My legs hurt. Oh, my shins were just insane. I mean, I was locking up everywhere.
Yeah.
I literally, like, I tried going into the corner with those 100mm wheels on, and literally, she's pushing me around the damn floor. And I was like,
Too fast.
I was like, can you please slow this down? I'm not. It was so. I was like, no, fuck this. I'm done. I'm done. And I seriously thought about going and grabbing my 80s.
Yeah.
My 80, because that's well, I think that was the last size that I skated on.
Mine were 84s in '98.
Okay, so then it was 84.
Yeah.
So then it was 84 is what I stopped on.
Yeah.
Was 84s, and I seriously thought about going and getting them out of my dad's theater room.
Yeah.
And taking and putting those in.
It makes a difference, you know. And
But the problem was the spacing on the mounts.
Yeah.
Because I always skated on an Ultimate Attitude.
Yep.
The way it
and
flexed.
all the boots are now made with the 195 mount, you know, instead of the 165. So you know, it just makes a huge difference. But you know, if they ever decide, you know, as the membership, if they decide collectively, hey, this is the direction we want to go, and we want our kids to be on this size and this size and this size, the manufacturers will make those wheels, you know, and it's just facts. But right now, nobody's going to buy a 76mm wheel, so the manufacturer's not going to make it.
Right.
So, you know, is it better? I mean, when you look at other countries, that's what they're doing.
Need to go back to some 90s.
Yeah.
The 90s probably should be a good cap.
Yeah.
So.
You know, and especially for the little ones, you know. These little kids don't need to be on these huge dinner plates. And I mean, and also, you know, we don't know what it's going to do to their knees or their ankles, like long term. Like,
It's a high center of gravity.
yeah, you know, and is that why we have more injury? Are we really going faster? I don't know. You know, I mean, 2004, I think it was when the record on this floor for one lap was, you know, 8.46. Nobody's been able to go that fast since then. In 2004, they weren't on hundreds or 110s.
Right.
You know, the record for the marathon, Chad, granted he had a tailwind, but Chad was on 84mm, and it's less than an hour, and they still can't beat it. And they're what, up to $22,000 now to give whoever beats him. Like, I just don't know if they're. Are they faster? Like, or are we just in better shape?
I honestly think that we were in better shape.
Yeah.
I don't think that it's the same level of athlete. I've watched them and I've been around it. I don't think it's the same level of athlete. It's more social.
Different. Yeah.
It's more social. It's not about getting out there. Literally, I mean, look, you're obviously a world champion. You came and trained with us at Champions. Yeah. It was about a killer instinct the entire time.
Yeah. You know, that's the thing is, like, when I was a kid, you know, my dad was my coach, and when I got on the floor at Josie Skateland, you know, in my white quads with my 2 black racing stripes, you know, I'll be damned if you were going to beat me.
Right.
you know, and it didn't matter who was on the line with me. I don't care if I'm racing these 15-year-old girls and I'm 7. I'm going to do everything I can to beat you. And it was, you know, that I don't know if you can teach that or if it's just in our soul, right? You know, and I've got these new kids that come out of session and they're really fast at session. Like, man, I'm like, dude, here's a free pass. Come to my speed class. And, you know, I got a 6-year-old who is super talented, super fast. As soon as it gets hard, 6 years old, as soon as it gets hard, I can't do a 5-lap race. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it at practice. Why not? Because I can't win it. Well, how do you know? You haven't even done it yet. How do you teach that? I don't know. So, like, you know, the mom and I are working through it. And, you know, is that where we're at? Is it where we're at? Can I, as a coach, instill that fire that I had as a 6-year-old? And I'll be honest, I'm struggling because the person that the coach in me that's way down deep that I gotta push down every now and then is like, get your fucking ass on
Yeah.
And then the safe sport in me is like, oh baby, come on, you can do it.
Safe
And
sport,
let's
Jesus.
go, you know. So I mean, and it's a totally different day, you know. I can't do that. And also, when you do that, and these days they shut down.
Yeah.
And so there's this give and take, but how do we get to that next step, right? How do we say to someone, hey, here's the link to the Federation of Columbia, and here's 500 6-year-olds out on a track racing right now. Let's watch. Oh my God. Yeah. Do you want to do that? I don't know. They're going real fast. I'm like, yeah. You want to go that fast? Well, I don't know. Let's learn, you know, and get me on the track. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's do it, you know, and it's just a totally different kind of day. And I feel like every coach is struggling with that at the moment. And you got to find that one fire that kind of ignites the little fires in everybody else. And if you can find that one who drives your practice, who drives your events, who drives and has that passion to say, you know, I don't care who the hell you are, you're not beating me. And you instill that, and they keep pushing. That is why we were so good. Mm-hmm. We all went to champions, and we all pushed each other. We all went to Charlie's Hot Dogs in Dallas. Mm-hmm. You know, we all went. We had those places that, you know, if there was a point, like, I skated for champions. My dad was like, go down there and skate with champions. Mm-hmm. And then there was a time where we all skated together as Team Texas.
Right.
You know, there's times where you got to say, you need to go somewhere and chase the rabbit. You got to chase the rabbit.
So ironic that you're bringing that up, because Casey Boudier actually was talking about that. He made a post on his Facebook page actually regarding that. What does a coach do? You've got an athlete that's maxed out at the current team but still needs to use facility if possible, but really is only going to benefit if they go and skate with this other team over here where there's other like athletes.
What do you do?
I mean, if you really truly want to, if your whole intention is,
you gotta help.
If your intention is the sport to grow and you want to see that child really flourish, you got to push them that way.
So like after Thanksgiving, like, we were talking and we were watching, like, there were a lot of crashes. There were a lot of, like, we had to call the EMT every day. I mean, it was like, oh my God, can you guys please not? Can you not? And then my best friend gets her face ripped off. Yeah. And, you know, so it was like after the meet, I was like, okay, is it COVID? Because we skated nationals this year, like, so, and people are skating. Is it that we haven't been racing at this speed, and then all of a sudden everybody's getting a little bit faster again, and oh shit, what do I do?
Right.
You know? But like for my team, I've got 3 kids that are able. But when you have 3 kids that skate in a 3 mixed together, and they're going faster than what they've been doing at practice. And then you add 6 other teams who are going the same speed and strategically getting in the way, right? They don't know what to do. So I'm like, all right, listen, Linda. We're going to come together, and I've already talked to our president of South Central is Brian Krupa, and I talked to him, and I was like, we need to get together as a region, and once a month, just have a 5-hour jamboree practice and practice race, right? We need to go as fast as we were going at Thanksgiving, but all of us together. Because my 3 kids that are racing at that speed need to learn how to pass at that speed. And when it's just 3 of them doing all they're doing is times. So they're not learning how to race with those people, and they're not learning how to make those passes. They're not learning where the lane is. They're not learning how do I maneuver when this skater is in my way on purpose, but not illegally.
Right.
What do I do? How do I do that? You know, like after the 3 mixed, they were like, that guy should have been disqualified. And I was like, no, he was just being a dick. He was in your way. You know, he made a bad relay and got in your way. You didn't know what to do. You know, but that's on me. Like, how do I teach them as a coach? Okay, this guy's going to come be right here. How do you maneuver over here? What do you do? How do you communicate? What are you doing? And I can't do it if it's just the 3 of them doing those relays all by themselves. So, you know, I'm going to try to get everybody together. They're doing it on the East Coast. They're doing these mega practices, which are amazing. And they're bringing all those teams together. And that's what we need to do. We need to bring everybody together and let them race at that speed.
Yeah.
Because if we're going by time, that's great. But we also have to race at that time. We got to know how to make those passes at that time. We got to know how to strategically block in that time. We need to know where to be, when to be, what lane to be in, and that's indoor, outdoor, relay. It don't matter. All of it. And right now, we're so spread out. In the United States in general, we're so spread out.
Yeah.
I mean, Texas is the size of France.
Right.
Right? So, I mean, if you think about it, France has 22 tracks. The size of Texas.
Yeah.
The whole of the United States has 2 tracks, you know, outdoor. And roller skating rinks, you know, in Texas, we've got 22 skating rinks in Texas. And that's where our focus has been in indoor. So let's come together and let's be fucking amazing indoor.
Sure.
And just improve, because then that's going to translate into our outdoor, which is what we were doing back then. Because we didn't have we had 2 tracks back then too. Right? But we were racing, there were more of us. We were racing faster together. Everybody went to champions at one point. We were 50 people strong at practice, and we were all chasing that rabbit. Everybody came to Dallas, chasing that rabbit, you know. And, you know, you go to Michigan, the Wolverines, chasing that rabbit.
Yep.
You know, Piedmont, chasing that rabbit. High Point, you know, Stardust. Doesn't matter.
Right.
You know, Seattle.
Yeah.
You know, you got
Patterson's.
Yeah. That's the thing. Fast begets fast.
Yeah.
Right? And when you practice at race speed, then your racing becomes better. So, you know, I'm a strong proponent of technique. I'm a strong proponent of base. But when you get past that first phase and you move on into that race series, you've got to have racing speed. And right now, I think everyone in the country is missing that. You know? So,
I watch it. I watch it and I see it, and it's not the same racing. It's a lot lighter touch. It's not nearly as aggressive. And I think
sometimes.
Yeah, I mean when they get going to those top speeds and they do throw those passes. I mean but they also wreck a lot more. There's a lot more falls.
Yeah. Yeah. And I feel like I said, like this last meet, like it was like crash after crash after crash, like nationals as well. Now, granted, it was a very poor situation with the floor, but there were tons of crashes. And the ones who were able to adapt
were the ones who succeeded.
Yeah.
And that adaptability is missing as well. Like we're so, like here, our practice, like someone fell and had something on their leg during practice. It took me half an hour to clean the floor because, oh my gosh, it's so slick. And I was like, 6 months ago, do you remember that?
Right.
Like I bought a Zamboni to clean my floor, but really?
Well, I remember, I think, Michelle Bozo, I think it was Michelle and Jessica.
Oh.
I forgot what worlds we were at, and they discovered, I think Michelle had these purple hyper wheels.
Oh, yeah.
And because the track was super slick.
Yeah.
And they discovered that they had these damn wheels, and the next thing you know, it was like, boom, we had 200
Yep.
sets shipped over from, and hyper poured a bunch of extra ones and brought
Yep.
them over. And was that, it was,
Yeah.
hey, we figured out something that worked out there.
Yeah.
But
Barcelona was the same. Like we were on that metal portable track.
yeah.
Again, shit show. And the Italians had one set of wheels that worked. So in between the junior and the junior men, junior lady race, you had that long, right? The junior man was sitting at the gate with all of his wheels off, waiting patiently. And as soon as the junior ladies came off, he went and sat on the track. They changed his wheels right there and put those wheels on and went out. And they both medaled in that race.
Jesus.
But how terrible, right?
Yeah.
But again, adaptability.
Yeah, they made it work.
We got one set of these wheels. We're gonna make these bitches work. We're gonna take a medal home.
Yeah.
And they did. But it's just
And they probably brought home more medals at that time
They did.
than America.
they did.
Yeah.
But we got that's a whole bunch of things.
I feel so bad. I make these comments, and it's truly not to bash the U.S. team, but it is really hard to go from
Sure.
20 years ago when 95% of all the gold medals are being won by the United States to now 99% of them are being won by Colombia.
Yeah.
And almost, I mean, this year we got one bronze medal, and it was at the junior level, none at the senior level. So it's not to bash any of the athletes because they are great athletes. It's just this huge transition, and I think it's more about the sport here in the United States than it is about the athletes.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, we do have some deficiencies.
Yeah.
Having a track would be amazing, but we didn't have a track then.
Right.
Right? And we had access to the Colorado track even less than we do now, excluding COVID. But there's less of us skating, right? And again, fast begets fast. So coming together and racing as Team USA, like we don't have a residency program anymore.
Right.
My first year, 94, I learned how to race at residency. And it was a 6-week residency. And yes, we got to stay on campus. Yes, we trained 3 times a day, and we traveled on the weekends because we were all sponsored skaters. We all went to the 10Ks and the marathons, and we all raced. And then we came back and did our thing, and there you go.
Yeah.
But in those races, we were racing with our sponsored teams. And the only race we skated as a team was Downers Grove. And, it was amazing because I had 6 weeks of Dante, Tony, Chad, Cheryl, and Heather was there. And, it was like the dream team that year for us. I mean, but I think the residency program made it that because we were racing each other, but we were learning how to race with each other as well. And I feel like that's one of the things that's missing completely from right now our program is, hey, 6 weeks prior to Worlds-ish, we're going to have this competition where it's, no holds barred and you're racing everybody and I hate you and you hate me and okay, now y'all got to race together. The other challenge too is, unfortunately, it's not pay to play.
Right.
And the job of the team staff, and this solely Gypsy, my opinion, the job of the team staff is you got to put the best 2 in the team at that day
on that moment in that race.
Mm-hmm.
If you have 6 kids, that means 4 people are not racing that race.
Right.
It's math.
Right.
Right? And if the only training you're doing together is the 7 days prior on the tracks that you're racing at Worlds, and the coach goes to all these races and watch online or is keeping up with them all year long, you still don't see how they race together.
Right.
You don't know, Jason and Gypsy might not race very well in a 500 meter together, but Gypsy and Heather might. But we don't know that because they haven't raced as a team together.
Right.
And Heather and I have raced together since 1994, and we had this unspoken thing that worked for us. We didn't need to go to the 500 meter start line with a plan because we knew it was like this sixth sense because we raced together.
Yeah.
Teresa and Cheryl, same thing. Teresa and Julie,
Mm-hmm.
same thing. Dante and Tony, same thing,
Yeah.
right? I mean,
Chad and Derek.
Mm-hmm. And it just, when you race with someone, you learn their nuances and you learn that look and you learn that, you know what, you don't have it, I got you, right? But not in a bad way.
Right.
You don't have it, so fuck off. No, you don't have it, I got you, teeny, right?
Yeah.
And we don't have that because we're not racing together.
Right.
And so if we were able to take that team that went this year and give them more than 7 days, not of training on the road, because what are they're not doing nothing
Right.
when they're training on the road when it's raining, and they're not learning each other. Give them that time, whether it's before Worlds or whether it's in January. It doesn't matter. They just have to be together. And they got to learn those nuances so that they can have that look and they can say, you know what, Teamy, let's go. We're ready right now, motherfucker. Let's go. We going to get it. And I got the last one, you get this one, and da-da-da-da-da. But we don't have that. We don't have that. And so it's really difficult. Like these kids are getting the shit end of the stick, because you have these people who, Gypsy, Lucas, not board member, not speed committee member, not team staff, Gypsy, Lucas. You have these people that have never been on the team, have never been to an international race, have watched it on YouTube, who think they're experts.
Right.
And they down these kids and make them feel like shit 12 hours before they get on the start line. That is the worst teammate you can be.
Yeah.
And it is not their fault in the situation that we are in. It is not the coach's fault. It is not the staff's fault. It is the current situation that we're in. It's the cards that were dealt, and we got to figure out how to drop the 4 cards in our poker hand and get 4 new cards. We got to figure out how to do that. And we got to stop listening to these people who are so negative all the damn time and treat these kids like crap.
Yeah.
Now, should these kids be on social media 12 hours before their most important
no.
race? Absolutely not, right? How do you tell a kid who is addicted, and we all are, how do you tell a kid that is addicted to social media and their phone, I need you to put your phone down for 14 days?
Requirement of being on the team.
Yes. However, how are you going to do it?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
We didn't have that.
Yeah, we didn't have that
We
interference.
didn't have that interference, right? I mean, when we went to France the first time, like I didn't sit in my room when it was, time to not do nothing. Like I was out like, oh,
Going sightseeing.
look at that, look at that, look at that, look at that, look at that. And
Yeah.
now these kids,
Yeah.
that's it, right? And what's happening on social media and what are they saying about us at home and it's just such an anchor, and it's unfortunate, and a lot of people were like, tell them to put their phone away, in theory, that makes sense.
Yeah.
We don't live in that society.
No.
You got to be honest with what you have. And what we have right now is we have an addiction to a phone.
Yeah, but at the same time, I think that I think wholeheartedly, Gypsy. I think that if it was an athlete like yourself or myself or Chad or Fourth or Cheryl or Julie, we were the best, and we weren't going to tolerate anything less than.
Right.
And if we were told that this is what is what's going to be needed for us to be the best, I think that skaters like us.
To totally disagree with you.
You think?
Oh my God.
Yeah.
How many times did you do something when you were on the team that you weren't supposed to do and didn't tell nobody? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I told on myself all the time, but I did a lot. I did a lot I wasn't supposed to do.
Right. We did a lot. We weren't
A lot.
Hence no phones.
Yeah.
We never got caught.
Yeah.
Right. So I
Yeah.
mean, we were, and I told them
All the hazing. Imagine if the hazing
my God.
got put on camera.
we would be in really trouble.
There would be people in prison.
Yes. Facts. We're gonna edit that.
No names.
When
No
I was
names.
when I was team coach the first time in 2003, I sat down and told the team then, and it was Joe Cotter, myself, who were the team coaches, and I flat out said to them, I said, I've been in your shoes. Don't think you're gonna get away with anything because I've already done it.
Yeah.
Anything that you're gonna do, I've already done, and probably worse.
Yeah.
Or I've had it done to me and probably worse.
Yeah.
You know? And that's the difference. We didn't have that connection to home
Yeah.
on our fingertips. Like I spoke to my parents when they arrived in France.
I
A
forgot.
week after.
I
right?
forgot all of my underwear in Colombia. From Colombia, I had none.
Right.
And I'm 3 years younger than every
Yeah.
other male on the team, and my mom wasn't coming, so I had to go. Jordan Nelson's mom was like,
Yeah.
"Well, what size underwear do you wear? You can borrow some of Jordan's," and I'm like, "Size 14," because I'm still wearing little boys. I'm still wearing kids. I don't like. I can't call my mom.
Yeah.
Can't do any of that.
Yeah. Now you just send a text.
Like Amazon.
Right? Exactly. You just
God.
buy it on Amazon yourself. And I think that's one of the things, like we were in France for 2 weeks and I didn't know what the hell was going on at home.
Right.
Like I had no clue. Now, all they do is on the bus ride, they're on their phone seeing what everybody says about them. When they're in the hotel, they're looking and seeing what everybody's saying about them.
Yeah.
They're watching their videos. They're watching this. They're watching that. And it is a distraction, but that's the society that we live in, right? So it's easier said than done. Hey, put your phone away.
Yeah.
It's way easier. So, that's one thing. But again, just coming back to that, like those kids worked their ass off in a situation that sucked. These last 2 years have been absolute shit. And
Yeah.
if anybody tells you different, they're wrong.
It's horrible.
They're
It's been
wrong.
horrible.
It's been horrible, and COVID has changed a lot in our speed world, has changed a lot in USA roller sports, in world skate and everything. It's society in general. It's just changed a whole lot, and I don't know. Like I don't know the answer, and I'm like open to it, but. Just for fuck's sakes, like, sorry, y'all, but for fuck's sakes, I'm tired. I'm tired. And like I was on staff and I resigned my position this year. And I resigned before indoor nationals, and I just was not comfortable with protocols, and I wasn't comfortable being the person who would be responsible for 24 human beings, not athletes, not someone coming to skate, making sure they're on the line, making sure they got water, making sure that they're fed, human beings in their lives.
Yeah.
I just wasn't comfortable with that. And, and it broke my heart to send the email because the ones that want help, and that's who I want to be there for, but I just felt like it was a little bit much. It was emotionally a lot. It was, physically a lot. And you can blame my Australian husband. He got COVID in March,
y'all men, when y'all get sick, let me tell you, y'all take that shit to the 10th degree. So, we have this house where, he's by himself in this bedroom, and every now and then he opens the door, honey, can I have something cold? And I was like, sure, honey. Day 3, I was like, oh my God. And immediately I'm like, what if I'm in Colombia and a 14-year-old kid just turned 15 while he's there, gets sick and has to quarantine and can't leave the room? Honey, can you get me something crunchy? What if his roommate gets sick and there's 2 of them in the room and I'm gotta, what? No, I don't think that's a good idea at all. So we brought up a lot of things. We were like, protocols, what are we going to do? How are we going to keep them safe? How are we going to keep the team safe? How are we going to keep the parents safe? How are we going to keep, it was just so much. And, for those kids to go to Worlds and their parents to support them and go with them, or their support staff, they had to have someone with them that in case they got sick, that there was someone there to make those decisions for them. Those people get a gold star, because for you to take that responsibility, not only of yourself, but of your child or someone else's child or your spouse or your partner, and go for 14 days to a foreign country on an expensive dime, that's amazing. And I don't think anybody applauds the parents enough, because this year was hard. Everything was so short information. World Skate was last minute, everything last minute, which then in turn made everything on this side of the pond last minute.
Yeah, because it got moved. I mean, the trials got moved from here to Waco to.
Yeah, so it got moved from here, which we had, like I said before, my goal. I want Waco to support, and they're ready. And we had money, we had the plans, we had everything going, and we called and said, hey, we need to postpone to Labor Day. And he was like, why? Yeah. And I was like, hey everybody, do I tell 200 people just had COVID at nationals? To be honest, I had to be honest. I was like, well, quite a few of our top athletes came down with COVID after nationals, and we want to give them time to recover and rest. And it's only 10 days away, and that we're still in that quarantining, period. So we really need to give them a couple of days time. Oh, how many people?
Yeah, that was the one.
Bum, bum. So that was one factor, but the main factor was they were already going back to school.
Yeah.
So we couldn't have the parking lot across the street. They were going to have practices, that Friday before Labor Day. So we couldn't have the same times anyway because it was in the middle of school. But the COVID factor was definitely a factor. And I wasn't going to lie to them because I want to build that relationship with them. And so when they canceled, I was just like, and it sucks. And Waco understood, and we've got money when it's ready. They're ready to support. So, it's just a challenging of finding the right time, finding the right formula, and getting them to come. And I think also when it was announced that it was in Waco, people, there were a lot of naysayers, and bringing up, I think they're frivolous, but they are definitely in some people's mind, but Waco's growing so much. I mean,
look, people. It's a hard thing to explain Texas, because we have 28 million people in this state. So even a small place like Waco still has several 100,000 people here, and has one of the top colleges in the country, top athletic programs in the country. I mean, they just won the Big 12 championship today. Football. I mean.
We have a Baylor hockey team now, ice hockey team.
Yeah.
And we don't have an ice hockey rink. Just saying.
Yeah. Houston, fourth largest city in the world, or in the country. We don't have a hockey team because our basketball owner hates hockey. Got rid of it. And I loved hockey. Got rid of the arrow. But I saw all of that. I saw, and of course, I'm on
Yeah.
the feeds and all that crap, and I saw that, and I'm like, you haven't been to Waco,
Right.
Like, yeah, it's not Austin, it's not San Antonio, but it's still like several 100,000 people
Yeah.
here. It's a big city.
Yeah.
It's not some podunk,
Yeah.
piece of shit town. I mean, you've got major
Yeah.
interstate that flows through it, and you've got hotels everywhere. You've got sports venues,
Construction
restaurants.
crazy right now, which sucks. But
Yeah,
you
I
know.
will say we went to Top Golf today. that is the oddest Top Golf I've ever seen in my
So
life.
it's the first one like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's they're calling it the clubhouse. So it's any city that's 200,000 or less.
Yeah.
So Waco's at about 175 now, and then surrounding we're about 250.
Yeah.
And I gotta say though, Brooke is killing it. She is kicking it out of the park.
It was jam packed when we were there.
Jam packed, and like she's one of the girls helping with Derby, so we do a lot of networking and communicating. But some of the stuff, she's taught me a lot already business wise on how to get those corporate people in, which is awesome. But that's something that program is going to be everywhere in those smaller cities because they don't. I mean, Waco doesn't need a 3-story Top Golf.
Right.
A 1-story with a putt, and they're doing live music. They never do live music at Top
No,
Golf,
and that was cool. They had the bar, they had the cornhole boards and all
Yeah.
that stuff. They had the outdoor seating with the big
way
LED board.
family friendly, which
Yeah.
Top Golf is not normally about family, most
Right.
of the time. And this one is really because Waco is family oriented. There's tons of stuff like our business in the skating rinks we've just been booming since we opened back up from COVID.
Yeah.
And we didn't have a slow season.
Yeah.
Our slow season normally is September, October, November, and damn,
Guys been slammed.
we've been slammed.
Well, I mean, I'm sure, obviously Chip and Joanna Gaines,
Definitely
Magnolia Network, the silos, all that.
They're like, so they did this thing called Silobration, and it was like the last week of October. They brought in 150,000 a day.
Yeah.
Visitors.
Insane.
A day. That's the whole of Waco, basically, coming. And so our population doubled in a day. 3 days in a row.
Someone asked me about it today, and I said no. I said you have to understand. I said this thing, these characters, if you will, on a home improvement
Right.
network, are literally responsible for bringing about 20,000 people a month on average
Easily.
to Waco.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
that, like.
There's better food, there's
Yeah.
better hotels, there's infrastructure's getting put in, which is great.
But that damn
just a ton-
I-35
I know.
is-
it's never gonna get done. And
It's been so bad for so long. It
it's
sucks.
so bad. Yeah. Every now and then you're like, oh, they opened up a lane. Oh wait, they closed another one.
Yeah,
Never mind.
exactly.
There's a pylon gone. Oh, look at that. I haven't been on 35 going from one rink to the other. It's 20-minute drive, and you got to go a long way around your elbow.
Stay around it.
Oh man, it's terrible. But yeah, that's the challenge. Like when everybody said that, it was just it was heartbreaking to me because I was like, we had put in a whole bunch of work into it, and then when it canceled, I was just like, I hate to say it, I was like, oh, I'm kind of relieved because it was totally stressful.
Oh, yeah.
But then I was like heartbroken because I was like, all that work that was put into it now gets translated to someone else who has to do it in 3 weeks. And I would never wish that on my worst enemy, right? And so I helped from afar, and Tasha and Jason Hill, organized all the things that we had 3 months to do. They did in 3 weeks. And they were able to get money from the city, money from the county. They were able to do all those things on a very short time, which goes to show that with the right connections, the right city behind you, we can get support and hopefully grow what we all love to do.
Yeah.
And as long as a city can support us, then maybe there will be more bank tracks and more parks with wheels and more crick courses and things like
bank
that.
tracks
So
would be cool.
they would be cool.
Well, Gypsy, I tell you what. On that, we're gonna call it. I think we intended to do 30
Oh my
minutes,
God.
and it's been. I think we did almost 2 hours. We did over 2 hours.
I hate you.
So
I love you.
anyway, thank you so much, Gypsy.
You're welcome.
You know,
We're gonna get some skates for you and let you.
Oh, God. Fred and I do talk about this all the time, and he's terrified of getting back on the skates because he pulled his groin so badly. A kid took him out. A small kid took him
Wait,
out.
at session?
No,
with a skate mate.
He went. Yeah, I told. Well, we've got these friends that are like pro level golfers, and they talk shit to us nonstop about it being. They can beat our ass at any sport, and they refuse to put on skates.
Well, yeah.
Refuse.
Y'all
And-
are world champions.
Sure, but at the same time, I'm like, we go play golf with y'all, and they beat our ass, and we're like, okay, no big deal. But yeah, so I just want to get them on the. I want to get them on the rink with a little assist.
Skate mate?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that'd be fun. But anyway.
Brownies. Brownie race.
Yeah.
None.
Thank you, Gypsy. I appreciate it.
You're
Thank you so much. This was great. I had a great time.
Yeah, me too.
All right.
Let's do it again.
Yeah.
But
Soon.
late, like earlier in the day.
Earlier, much earlier in the day. All right. Thanks, Gypsy. Bye.